Imagine this is a plant's world. Plants gained super intelligence over several million years of evolution and eventually dominated the world. They evolved into different forms and types according to their species and environments. Aquatic plants and terrestrial plants will evolve into entirely different creatures. They also formed different cultures and societies. Herbaceous plants may have war with woody plants for resources. Ayun is holding a drawing contest where they would like artists to imagine a world where plants are the dominant species. They want artists to create their own version of unique creatures, environments, and events based on this plant world. This artwork is for the Ayun's This is a Plants World contest. Getting started with this artwork, I wanted to first try and tell a story, and I went through multiple ideas and different scenarios in my head that I wanted to bring to life in this artwork. I did my best to align myself with the premise of the general artwork theme, however, along the way I got a bit too carried away with wanting to deliver a scene based on the idea that humanity was gone and plants have evolved. Rather than focusing on the actual world building that the contest is probably aimed more towards, I focused on making a scene a bit too much. However, for me at least, what's important is that I had fun creating something along with that great premise. I had the idea that humans have left Earth via space travel and went to explore other worlds, a new adventure in the chapter of humanity. But the world that they left behind, however, wasn't done with providing life. This time, it was the plants' turn. However, unlike humans, the plants have already had an established world to live in. And albeit being abandoned by their former residents, it was anything but lacking in remnants. Advanced technology, buildings, underground tunnels, and factories full of food, clothes, tools, and different assortment of products such as toys and magazines that can teach us how the world was back when humans were still around. Most of it should have perished under the sands of time. However, I would like to imagine that futuristic human societies might have had a better way to preserve these things than what humans can currently do. And so I came up with the initial idea of a plant-based kid that has seen magazines of long-lost humanity and was enamored with their history and their cultures. I had a lot of scenes in my mind of them perhaps listening to modern hip-hop music, even though they don't really understand any of the human languages, maybe even humming to modern songs and dancing to them too. And eventually developing a modern urban-style outfit due to different magazines that they found, assuming what an outsider would assume about humans just by interacting with magazines and billboards that had advertisements and such on them. Getting obsessed with science magazine that in due time leads them to the truth of why there are no humans around anymore. Perhaps the lack of plants due to years of pollution, the escape to the cosmos via rocket ship, or maybe it was something else entirely. They may even draw different parallels between their civilizations currently as plant-based form of lives and humanity. I like to imagine them putting humanity on a pedestal compared to their own civilization just because it's something they don't really know, and it's easier to put something up there when you don't really know it intimately. Wishing to follow humanity's footsteps and go to space, they develop a strong sense of curiosity regarding anything human. And that act of piecing together a lost and ancient civilization with an unknown fate is why I ended up making them a cactus-based life form. It's because I recently learned you can take different pieces of cacti and just, push them together, and the cacti will accept that new part as if it was its own. So you can piece together your own cacti from multiple types of cacti. Just as Cacti Kid pieced together their own vision of what humanity is by stitching together different parts of what humanity culture is like to them. And that wish to follow humanity's footsteps is why I thought they would be looking for different pieces of human technology so they can make their own rocket ship. Which is why I try to symbolize that want in my choice of t-shirt print on what they wear. Eventually I wanted to envision a scene where they actually found a human artifact that is used in a spaceship, an anti-gravity tube of a sort, that is perhaps used for space travel or something similar. I wanted to convey surprise and true happiness on their face. Initially I thought about making the scene at night and have the cube show blue lights to show some dramatic lighting. However, I ended up with a midday style light to try and convey multiple different things. First, the growth that the Cacti Kid have achieved by having the sunlight in the scene from the top right, which is where they are floating to, symbolizes the Cacti Kid's step in the right direction, growth towards the sun, as plants do. Second, I personally always associated midday noon as the time of day when I recall into my own childhood. Everything always seemed a bit colored orange in hindsight. However, I made sure the cactus kid and the object that they salvaged from the remnants of humanity were popping out using complementary colors. I still made the cube a focal point of the artwork, and I wanted to try and convey the importance of the discovery to perhaps not only the cacti kid, but the entire world of plants. I honestly find the entire premise of humanity leaving Earth and having a new species arise from their previous home absolutely fascinating, and how the things humanity left behind may affect the world that was left behind. Perhaps an ancient weapon cache found, nations of plant life saved or brought down by the discoveries of other lost human relics. Perhaps some sort of adventurer or explorer guilds made from plant men to find those extraordinary technological devices that humanity left behind, that to them just might seem like pure magic. Though I thought a lot about the story of this artwork, I don't think I managed to convey the story behind as well as I could, nor that my execution was the best, but regardless I'll submit it as I had fun creating it. Thank you for joining me in this small journey into my mind exploring the theme of It's a Plants World. And if you can, I'd appreciate if you could comment below what kind of idea you would derive from that theme. What would you be interested in drawing? And thank you. Bye bye.